What's up, nerds? It's MTG Man, and welcome back to Kitchen Table Showdown. A little bit less janky, just as funky. But yeah, so today we're doing 10 more decks under 20 bucks. And let's just get into it. So, first up is Spooky Scary. Of course, it's a Goblin Tribal type deck. So use Death Priest, Skeleton Crew, and Corpses along with Skeletal Swarming in order to make our skeletons get big when they attack. Skeletal Swarming, Corpse of the Lost, and Skeleton Crew are also going to help us create more skeletons, along with Death Priest, which will just help us create more skeletons. Then we have skeletons like Bone Dragon, Persistent Specimen, and Reassembling Skeleton that we can bring back from the graveyard. We can also bring Skeleton Crew back from the graveyard. How do we get it to the graveyard? Well, we use Grizzly Salvage and Treecorn. We have Assassin's Trophy and Nature's Claim for removal, Inquisition to basically just fuck up our opponent's hand, Sign in Blood for draw, and a very simple land base. Overall, very simple concept. You just get a big board of skeletons and you swing. So I think we keep this. We're going to Necroblossom Snarl untapped. Maybe we Nature's Claim something. I'm just going to say we did. Who cares? Grizzly Salvage. So we're going to go look at the top 5. We're going to put... We have lands. I think we put Skeleton Crew to hand, but the rest in the graveyard. The other cool thing about having things in the graveyard is that when we want to bring back Skeletal Dragon, we'll be able to do that as long as we have a graveyard or Bone Dragon. So at this point, we're going to play Corpses of the Lost, which will create a 2/2 skeleton, and it's going to give our skeletons +1/+0 and haste, so we'll swing in for 3. And then basically, as long as we can get more things in the graveyard, we can keep returning it to hand. Let's go with Necroblossom Snarl. I think we just run down Skeleton Crew. So all of our skeletons have +2/+1 now. Not really much to bring back from the graveyard at this point. Just swing for 4. Either probably play Bone Dragon this turn. It's a 7/5 right now. Swing for 4, swing for 9. We will play a Shriekhorn. We're going to mill 2. Sorry. We're going to mill 2. We will go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to exile 7 cards from our graveyard. We'll move Bone Dragon back to the battlefield because of its ability. And then, yeah, we basically just keep recasting shit. On our end step, because we use Shriekhorn, and since we descended, we'll pay 1 life, bring Corpse of the Lost back to our hand. But either way, Bone Dragon has haste because of corpses. Well, I guess it's tapped, so it doesn't. But either way, we would just keep swinging in because our skeletons have haste. And it's just got a very simple game plan. Build up a board of skeletons, win the game. Next up is Goblin Combo. This is kind of like the Pauper deck. Similar, a lot of those same cards, just maybe better, maybe worse, definitely cheaper. So how's this deck work? Well, we use Putrid Goblin, where whenever it dies, if it has no -1/-1 counters on it, it comes back to the battlefield, right? However, if a creature has a +1/+1 counter and a -1/-1 counter on it at the same time, they both just disappear because they cancel out. So we use cards like First Day of Class and Thran Vigil that's going to give it a +1/+1 counter when it enters the battlefield again. Basically, we then sacrifice it infinite times with Goblin Bombardment for damage, or we sacrifice it infinite times with Skirk Prospector for infinite mana, use that infinite mana to win with Flame Wave Invoker. We can search out Putrid Goblin, Invoker, or Prospector with Goblin Matron. We use Wizard's Rockets for draw, Cathartic Pyre for removal and draw, Faithless Looting for draw, Unearth to get back any of our combo pieces, and then just Mountains, Restless Vents, because again, we want as much draw as possible to get to our combo pieces, and Swamps. So very simple game plan. I think we just keep because we have a good amount of the combo in hand right now. We have the full combo in hand right now. So I think we play Thran Vigil first. We play Goblin Bombardment second, and then at this point we move to turn 4. We Putrid Goblin, we sack it to Bombardment to deal 1 damage to the opponent. It goes to the graveyard. because of Persist, it comes back. Because it left the graveyard during our turn, we put a +1/+1 counter on it. Counters, cancel out. We sack it with Bombardment, and we just do it over and over and over and over. And that's basically how it works. It's a turn 4 win if you're lucky. Or, yeah. Yeah, it's just good. Next up is Hellkite. Hellkite is not good. So I saw this card right here. I saw Dragon's Herald, right? And I was like, okay. So it searches for Hellkite Overlord. That's kind of cool, right? So it's going to be the Stompy deck. How the deck works is we use these creatures like Spearguard, Shambler, and Linkbreaker, where when they die, they create a creature of a different color. Like this creates a red creature, this creates a green creature, this creates a black creature. So theoretically, we can get the red, green, and black creature at all times with Dragon's Herald. All we have to do is use like Goblin's Bombardment to sacrifice one of those creatures. Then we sacrifice one creature of each of those colors. We put in a Hellkite Overlord, theoretically swing with it, and we just want to keep doing that every turn. We also have Cloakwood Swarmkeeper. We're creating these tokens, so we might as well get some value off of it. Plus, it acts as another green creature we could sacrifice. Bogart Trawler. Why not? Just it's an MDFC. They're always good. It can exile a player's graveyard if we need to do that. If not, it's just a land that, I mean, sure, we have to pay 3 life for it to enter untapped, but that's fine. Cathartic Pyre for draw. Revitalizing Repast because it's a land, and also sometimes giving Herald Indestructible is going to be really important because we don't have to sacrifice Herald. All right, we can sacrifice 3 other creatures and then just do it again the next turn. Audience with Tristani. Again, we're doing this whole token thing. Also, this can create a green creature, and also it's just a way to draw cards. Winding Way. The deck plays 26 creatures, so it's kind of important. And then Goblin Bombardment to sack. No real, like, double lands. We're just playing Evolving Wilds to search for shit. And yeah, pretty simple game plan. Kind of concise. Knows what it's doing. I think we have to keep here. We're going to shuffle, or we're going to put Hellkite on the bottom. We don't really want it in hand most of the time anyway. We're going to Evolving Wilds for green. So we're going to get a green source. Then we're going to shuffle. So the green source enters tapped. Go to turn 2. Play a swamp. I think we're going to Winding Way. So creatures or land. I think we're going to choose land here. Look at the top 4 and put lands into our hand. Wow, that was terrible. Rest would go in the graveyard. So not really doing much for us, but that's fine. I think we're going to play a Swarmkeeper. We're going to play Linkbreaker. We're going to Bogart Trawler. Winding Way for land again. We're going to put the mountain to hand. Rest go to the graveyard. We're going to play the mountain for turn. We're going to Harried Spearguard. And then at this point, Bogart Trawler. So we will... I think we wait. I think we play Cathartic Pyre. Discarding 2. Draw 2. Now we have Dragon's Herald, and then we play Herald. We move to our next turn. We activate Herald. We're going to sacrifice a red, green, and black creature. So we'll also create the 1/1 rat and the 1/1 mercenary. When we do that, we're going to search for a Hellkite Overlord, move it to the battlefield. And then, yeah, we would have swung with it last turn. Played a forest this turn. Play a Spearguard. Swing with it again this turn. And then theoretically you win by swinging out. I do think that doing a cheap 2-color creature build could work just as well, if not better, doing things like Wild Cantor, where it could count as a red or a green creature. I think doing a build like that might be more efficient, but I just thought that the whole token game plan was really interesting, so I wanted to build around that. Next up is Surveil. Surveil, so Surveil I think is interesting as a mechanic because, sure, it's supposed to be like gaining surveillance, but you're not if you want surveillance, you usually want it on your opponent. You want to know what your opponent's doing. Whereas surveil, you look at the top two cards of your library. So I just like never. I don't flavorfully. I don't get it. But anywho, we use cards like Copycatchers, Demir Spybug, um, Thoughtbound Phantasm, and Whispering Snitch that are going to give us a lot of value whenever we surveil. Then we use Sinister Starfish, Candlestick, and then some different spells that are going to help us surveil so that we can just keep surveilling, keep gaining value. Enhanced Surveillance is going to let us do more whenever we do surveil. We also have Eye of Duskmantle to basically... It's kind of like a storm finisher for the deck. It's very strange, but it's another way to win with these surveil cards. We're also playing Hidden Grotto because it's just going to let us surveil one, and then Darkwater Catacombs, Islands, and Swamps. Very simple surveil game plan. It's very low mana value. You keep your shit low to the ground, and you just swing in for the win. No blue source, so I don't think we keep. No blue source. Blue source. We're going to go 1, 2 to the bottom. We're going to go Thoughtbound Phantasm. Whenever we surveil, we put a counter on it. It's also just going to act as a good blocker. Hidden Grotto is going to surveil 1, so we put a counter on it. I think we play an island. We're going to go Demir Spybug 4. We're going to play a Demir Spybug 5. We're going to play a Swamp for turn. We're going to Thoughtbound Phantasm. We're going to Whispering Snitch. And at this point, every time we surveil, we put a counter on this, counter on this, counter on this, counter on this. Opponent loses 1 life, we gain 1 life. So we just wait. Okay, so now we consider. We surveil 1. We're going to put it on top so we can draw it. We are going to... I don't even think we can invoke it here. I think we just hard cast Pylon. No. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so we pile on. So we destroy a creature, and then we're going to surveil 2. I think we put both of them in the graveyard. Draw a card. Play a Hidden Grotto for turn. Surveil 1. Put it to the graveyard. And then we're just going to keep adding counters. Keep making the opponent lose life. Consider. Surveil 1. We'll move Starfish back on top so that we can cast it. And then every time... we can just swing in with Demir Spybug, basically. Flying in Menace is going to make it really hard to block. And yeah, that's how the deck wins. If the opponent can't block flyers, they basically lose. However, surveilling isn't always the best option, especially when you need to be drawing cards. Yeah. Next up is My Body is Ready. Classic Reggie quote, but it's Body of Research. It's a green-blue Body of Research deck. When you cast Body of Research, you create a 0/0 fractal, put X +1/+1 counters on it, where X is the number of cards in your library. So theoretically, this is like a 6-mana 40/40 if you're lucky. And as you would guess, how this deck works is we want to get that to hand ASAP so we can cast it turn 6 or earlier. So we use like Personal Tutor, Impulse, Salundi Vision, and Ethereal Usher, which we can transmute in order to get it to our hand. Then once the token is out, we have things like Gnarlid Colony and Dustshell Crawler that'll give it trample. So theoretically, we can just swing in for a win. We cast it a little bit early with Marleaf Pixie and Gyre Engineer. We can use Wizard's Rockets to fix up the colors of mana. Spell Pierce to theoretically protect it so that it doesn't get countered. Clear the Mind to shuffle our graveyard back into our library. Because having a 50/50 is better than having a 40/40. It also just draws us a card. And then Forests, Islands, and Vine Glimmer Snarl. Yeah. So, we're going to go Island. We're going to go Forest. We're going to Impulse, look at the top 4. Put 1 to hand. We're going to put a Salundi Vision to hand. The rest go on the bottom of the library. Go to turn 3. I think it's better to just play Gyre Engineer so that we have more mana. I think we play Salundi Vision. So we're going to look at the top 6, put an instant sorcery into our hand. We're going to put Body of Research into the hand. Rest go to the bottom of the library. Play a island for turn. Go to turn 5. We're going to tap, 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 tap. Body of Research. The 8 cards that are in exile should be in our graveyard. I just don't... Because to put things on the graveyard, we would have to go boop. And then... top to the... That just looks at the bottom. I don't even know how we would do it. So, yeah. So, we create a 47 with Body of Research, and then on the next turn we move to turn 6. Oh, there's another Body of Research. We Wizards Rockets, we Body of Research, so we swing with our 47. I think we create another 46. And then we just keep swinging with that. That's basically how the deck works. I just thought Body of Research was a really cool card. And there was nothing really built around it, so I decided to do that myself. Next up is Defender shit. It's another Defender deck, but instead of like an attacky Defender deck, it's a Defender combo deck. So you get Axebane Guardian. Once you have 5 creatures with Defender, it adds 5 mana, right? So then you can use 4 out of that 5 mana to untap it with Thassa's Ire. And then create at least 1 mana extra, and you just keep doing that for infinite mana, and then you pump that infinite mana into Secret Door to venture through the dungeon an infinite number of times, and either burn the opponent with it, because I think there's a burn option in one of the dungeons, or you create skeletons, or you draw cards, or you just keep amassing value until eventually the opponent dies. It also uses Overgrown Battlement in order to help us ramp 2 Axebane Guardian, along with Wall of Roots to help us ramp. The Pride of Hulklade is an alternate win con. It's not that great. It's another, your defenders can attack type thing, but I just thought it was like a little bit better and kind of interesting, so I threw it in here. Perimeter Captain, when your defenders block, you gain life. So you're just not dying. That's the game plan. You don't die. Impulse to get to our combo pieces. Path of Exile for removal, Return to Nature for removal, Spell Pierce to protect shit, and fuck, we can go even cheaper using the 25-cent copy of Spell Pierce. Winding Way to get our defenders to hand. Thassa's Ire is the combo piece. Evolving Wilds, Forests, Islands, and Plains. Very simple. Very, very simple. So we have all of our combo pieces here, so I think we just keep that. We're going to go Secret Door turn 1. It's a 0/4 blocker. It's going to keep us safe for the moment being. Go for a Forest. I think probably Thassa's Ire. Even if they can remove it, it's not that bad. We'll Return to Nature something. We'll Evolving Wilds. We're going to search for a Plains, just so that we have full colors. Move that to the battlefield. Shuffle. So that enters tapped. We're going to play an Axebane Guardian. We don't have infinite mana at this point. We'll play a Forest. We'll play Axebane Guardian. We just need 2 more creatures to go. I guess technically we could just start venturing through the dungeon with Secret Door. We'll play another Axebane Guardian. And there we go, Perimeter Captain. So at this point we have 5 defenders. So each of these will tap for 5. We can pay 4 to untap. We create infinite blue mana. We go through the dungeon infinite times, and the opponent dies. In case we don't know, I can't exactly remember what's in the dungeons, so just to go through them. If we go through Tomb of Annihilation, each player loses 2 life unless they discard a card, and then each player loses 2 life unless they sacrifice something. Theoretically, our opponents could die through that. We could go through Dungeon of the Mad Mage, where we can create 2 skeletons to attack our opponents with. If we just keep going through, we'll also be gaining infinite life, and then drawing cards through Mad Wizard's Lair. And then Lost Mine of Pandelver. Each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. We just do that 20 times and the opponent dies. Um, Very simple combo, honestly. It's infinite mana into infinite whatever other shit you want to do. But I just thought it was interesting. I've built it before in Pauper. This is just a depauperized version of it. Next up is Mono Green Devotion. And yeah, this is the green Stompy deck to end all green Stompy decks. You'll notice a lot of Winding Way this video. It's been like really, it seemed really good in the decks I put it in recently, so I've been using it more. So we use creatures to pump up our devotion that have a lot of green pips, like Llanowar Tribe, Old Growth Troll, Petitioner, which is also just going to keep us alive, Steel Leaf Champion. Okay, so fun fact, Guff Triplets. So since it's a token of a specific thing, it copies the mana value as well. So it will be 9 to your devotion. And then we use Karametra's Acolyte to basically ramp out with our devotion. Disciple of Freyalise to fill our hand. And then you just hopefully stomp over your opponents. Invasion of Ixalan is going to let us get more creatures. It's also just going to be a big body to swing in with. And then Winding Way, Rabid Bite for removal, and Return to Nature for removal. There's really not that much to say. This deck is like basic, easy baby shit. So you go Llanowar Elves, you go Old Growth Troll. So now we have a 4/4 Trampler on turn 2. We're gonna go Winding Way. Look at the top 4. We're gonna put creatures to hand. So we're gonna put the 2 Petitioners to hand. The rest go in the graveyard. We're gonna go swing with our 4/4. Maybe we will Rabid Bite to kill something. Play a Forest for turn. We're gonna Invasion of Ixalan. We reveal a permanent, put it to hand. We're Guff Triplets. Yeah. The rest go bottom of our library. We'll swing at the battle with our 4/4 Trampler. Assuming they have nothing to block with, we just flip it. Go to turn 5. So we don't have enough to play the Guff Triplets now, but I think we Winding Way, choosing land. So we get to put a Forest to hand, rest go in the graveyard. We'll play that Forest for turn. We'll play a Setessan Petitioner, gain 6 life. Play Guff Triplets. We get to create 2 extra copies. We just keep swinging in with our 4/4s. Go for a Setessan Petitioner. We gain 1, 10, 13, 15. We gain 17 life off of it. And then at that point, basically, the opponent can't kill us, and we just keep swinging in. Next up is Bad Tortoise. This is a Blossoming Tortoise combo deck, but Blossoming Tortoise is expensive. So just having 3 copies of it in our deck is like over half the budget. If you don't know how it works, you use Lava Call of Reaches, where its ability, which is X, it gets +X+0 until end of turn. Combos with Blossoming Tortoise, where your activated abilities of lands cost 1 less. So you can just keep paying 1, which will cost 1 less, giving it +1/+0, and just making it bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. Blossoming Tortoise will also give it +1/+1. And then we just search through our deck to find both pieces. We need cheap things like Discerning Peddler, Wizard's Rockets, Salvage. Once Upon a Time is kind of expensive, but it can help us get our pieces early. Adventurous Impulse, Commune with Nature, Magmatic Insight, Seek the Wilds, and then of course Lava Call Reaches. I think technically we could take Once Upon a Time out and make the deck a little bit more consistent. However, I like having the 0 turn play to possibly just get both pieces and win early. I think we keep this. So, Adventurous Impulse, we choose a creature or land, put it to our hand. We'll just put where the rest go? Bottom of our library. we're just gonna put a forest in hand. We're gonna go mountain, magmatic insight. We will discard a forest, draw 2 cards. There's the lava claw reaches we need. We're gonna commune with nature, look at the top 5, put a creature into our hand. I guess we'll put discerning peddler to hand. Rest go on the bottom of the library. Go to turn 3. Lava claw reaches tapped. Discerning peddler. It'll act as a blocker. It's a bear, and we can discard a forest to draw a card. There we have Blossoming Tortoise. We go to turn 4. We will put out Blossoming Tortoise. We will go to turn 5. We play a swamp. We turn Lava Claw Reaches into a creature. We make it infinitely strong, and then we swing in with it. Technically, there's no way to give Lava Claw Reaches trample or haste, or trample or flying. So I think what you could do is cut Once Upon a Time, put in like charge through. And then I guess like crash through. Shit, we throw in another crash through, and then we cut the land count. And, I mean, that's not the ideal number to cut the land count to. I think something like that, but, yeah, that might just make the deck more consistent. But you saw the game plan. It works kind of well as is, and yeah. Next up is coin flips. So, coin flips is a gimmicky coin flip deck. This is not really meant to be good. I just like Ral Zarek making you flip 5 coins and taking that many extra turns was cool. I think Stitch in Time being a 3 mana, extra turn if you can flip coins correctly, that's cool. We win the game with Chance Encounter. We can also proliferate Chance Encounter with Tezzeret's Gambit and Experimental Augury. We use creatures like Goblin Trap Runner and Usreed to flip a whole bunch of coins, and then Tavern Scoundrel is going to create treasures every time we flip, so that theoretically we can just keep going. Wizard's Rockets for draw, Cathartic Pyre for removal and draw, Invert Polarity, it's another coin flip spell, plus it can either be a copy or a counterspell. Spell Pierce for counterspell. Molten Rebirth to get creatures on the board, plus it's recastable and or just another way to flip spells, or flip coins. Frostboil Snarl, Islands, and Mountains. Very simple game plan. Yeah. So, we do not keep. We do keep. We're going to put a... Yeah, Scoundrel to the bottom. Mountain for turn. Island for turn. We're going to play Scoundrel. We're going to play a Mountain. We are going to... I guess Cathartic Pyre to destroy something. We're going to play a Tavern Scoundrel. We're going to play a Wizard's Rockets. We'll pay Tavern Scoundrel to flip a coin. It also let us draw a card when Wizard's Rockets is destroyed. So we'll flip a coin. Okay, so heads, we heads is a win, tails is a loss. Tails. Alright, so we create no treasure. We go to turn 6. We play a Frostboil Snarl tapped. We go to turn 7. We play a Goblin Trap Runner. So when it attacks, we get to flip 3 coins. For every flip we win, we'll be creating 4 tap treasures and 1/1/1 goblin. So we'll go to turn 8. We'll play an island for turn. We will go to Chance Encounter. We're going to Goblin Trap Runner, flip 3. Tails is a win. So that's 1 win. 2 wins. So we create 2 attacking goblins. We get to create 4 tap treasure. and then we put 2 counters on chance encounter. We will Tezzeret's Gambit, draw 2 cards, lose 2 life because of Phyrexian mana, proliferate to put more on chance encounter. Probably Wizard's Rockets tapped, pay Tavern Scoundrel to flip for Wizard's Rockets. We'll also flip for Trap Runner while we're there. We're going to call Tails a win. This is for sacrificing Wizard's Rockets. That's 1 win. And then 2 wins from Trap Runner. So we're going to create 6 treasures total, draw a card off of Wizard's Rockets, and create 2 goblins. And then that's also 3 more on chance encounter, so it's at 6. We have, 4 untapped treasures, 6 tapped treasures. We basically just want to keep running things out with all that extra mana, and you just win the game by continuously flipping. Sure, it's janky. Sure, it's not great. I just thought, flipping coins is fun. So that's the deck I made. Last up, Kiki Jiki Mirror Breaker combo. And yeah, it's exactly what you're fucking thinking. It's Kiki Jiki, Pestermite. You tap Kiki Jiki to make a copy of Pestermite. When that copy enters, you untap Kiki Jiki to create another copy of Pestermite. You do that infinite times to create infinite 2/1s. They have haste because of Kiki Jiki, and then you swing in with the board. We can also use Deceiver Exarch as another way to create infinite creatures because it'll also untap Kiki Jiki when copied. It just doesn't have flying, but flying doesn't really matter when your board is infinite. Discerning Peddler for draw, and just because Discerning Peddler is 10 cents. Sometimes when I need to fill a budget, because, we need 4 more cards in the deck, I can't afford to put another $1 in because we're 7 cents short of the budget. But I could afford Discerning Peddler. Wizard's Rockets for draw. Behind the Mask, this is a result of the budget. Cathartic Pyre for draw and removal. Impulse to help get to Kiki Jiki. Tuari Disruption for counterspell. Cathartic Reunion to get to Kiki Jiki. Faithless Looting. Into the Fey Court for draw. Johan's Stopgap. As you can tell, the budget is very tight here. The creatures just took up the entirety of the budget. We also have Goblin Matron to get Kiki Jiki, and then Frostboil, Islands, and Mountains. Very, it's a combo-y game plan. This is the perfect hand. So we go Mountain, we go Island, we go Island. We play Goblin Matron. We search for Kiki Jiki. We move it to our hand. We shuffle. We go to turn 4. We're going to play Deceiver Exarch to, I guess, just untap a Mountain so that we can Cathartic Pyre, discard 2 Fey Courts, draw a card. Probably Faithless Looting, draw 2, discard these 2, Wizard's Rockets tapped, Wizard's Rockets for 0, draw a card. We really just need that last land for Kiki Jiki, and then we win. I guess Cathartic Reunion, discard 2 cards, draw 3, Frostboil Snarl, move to turn 7, play Kiki Jiki, has haste, do infinite Deceivers, so tap it, create a copy of Deceiver. That copy enters, untaps a permanent, untaps Kiki Jiki, tap it, and we just do that over and over, and then we swing in with a board of infinite 1/4s. That's basically how the deck wins. This is a classic deck. It was, I want to say, banned for a while. I know Splinter Twin was banned, but I don't remember if Kiki Jiki was banned or not. But yeah, that's it for today. That's Kitchen Table Showdown, and I will see you tomorrow. Peace.